She looked at him one last time before closing the door. There were no tears. No anger. There was something worse, indifference. And he, standing there, didn't understand what had happened. After all, he had always been attentive. Always present. Always caring. But she left just the same. And the truth that no one tells is this: it's not a lack of love that makes a woman leave. It's the lack of something much more primal, something she herself can't name, but feels with every cell in her body. Have you seen this happen? A good man, hardworking, loyal, who does everything right, and yet she loses interest. Meanwhile, that other guy, who seems to have less to offer, keeps her completely engaged. It seems unfair. Irrational even. But there is a logic behind it, a logic that goes beyond flowers, romantic dinners, or declarations of love. A logic that is encoded in the oldest parts of female psychology. What makes a woman never want to leave a man has nothing to do with perfection. It's not about having money, muscles, or a model-like face. It's not about being the funniest or the smartest guy in the room. It's about three deep qualities that create a type of attachment she can't replace. Three forces that stir her most instinctive part, the part that doesn't respond to logic, but to presence. The first thing you need to understand is that women don't choose men just with their mind. They choose with their whole body. With their nervous system. With that visceral feeling that says, I feel safe with him, or I feel alive around him. And when a man doesn't trigger those sensations, it doesn't matter how nice or dedicated he is. She will leave. Not because he is bad, but because he doesn't touch what truly matters. Many men spend their lives trying to please. Trying to prove their worth through gifts, constant compliments, total availability. They think the more they give, the longer she will stay. But the opposite happens. She starts to feel that she's with someone who has no backbone. Someone who lives for her but has no life of his own. And that doesn't generate attraction. It generates discomfort. The reality is that there are three pillars that sustain the kind of relationship she will never want to leave. Three masculine energies that, when present, make her someone who defends the relationship, fights for it, and fears losing you. And not because you manipulated her or played mind games, but because you became irreplaceable in her emotional experience. The first pillar is the ability to be a protector. Not just physically, although that matters, but emotionally, socially. She needs to feel that you are capable of facing the world for her. That you don't run away. That you don't back down. That if someone disrespects her, you will take a clear stand. She tests this. Always tests this. And when you fail that test, something inside her shuts down. But attention, being a protector doesn't mean being controlling. It doesn't mean preventing her from living. It means you have strength, but use that strength to protect, not to imprison. She wants to feel that you can fight, but choose not to fight against her. This distinction is everything. The second pillar is being a hunter. Having your own purpose. Having a mission that goes beyond her. Women attach to men who are in motion, who have ambition, who build something. It doesn't have to be wealth or fame. It needs to be direction. Because when you have your own journey and invite her to be part of it, you stop being someone who depends on her for meaning. You become someone she wants to follow. The third pillar is leadership. And here many men fail completely. Leadership isn't about ordering. It's about making decisions. Taking responsibility. Leading without needing permission to breathe. She wants a man who knows where he's going and has enough clarity to guide her as well. Not because she is incapable, but because having someone who provides direction removes a huge weight from her shoulders. When these three pillars are present, something changes. She stops searching. Stops comparing. Stops thinking, is there someone better? Because the emotional response you generate in her is so deep that replacing you becomes nearly impossible. It's not about technique. It's about who you are. And here's the part many don't understand. These qualities aren't performed. They are built. You can't fool a woman by pretending to be strong. She feels it. Her body feels it. Her instinct feels it. And when you truly embody these three forces, the dynamic changes completely. If you followed this far and want to understand how this works in practice, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Because what comes next will show exactly how each of these pillars manifests in daily life and why so many men lose amazing women by not understanding this. Now comes the hardest part. Most men fail in these three pillars without even realizing it. And the worst part is, they are convinced they are doing everything right. Let's start with the protector, because this is where the confusion begins. Most men think being protective means being jealous, possessive, or overbearing. It doesn't. Being a protector is about having controlled strength. It's about her feeling that if the world collapses, you will stand strong. That if someone disrespects her, you will set boundaries. That you don't freeze when pressure hits. She tests this in subtle ways. When someone says something inappropriate to her and you do nothing. When a problem arises and you panic instead of solving it. When she notices that you fear confrontation, fear taking a stand, fear defending even your own opinions. Every time you fail in these moments, a part of her admiration evaporates. And here's the detail few grasp. She doesn't want you to solve everything for her. She wants to feel that you can solve it. There's a huge difference between being useful and being capable. Usefulness is technical. Capability is presence. When she feels you have this capability, even if you never have to use it, the emotional security it generates is immense. But there's a dark side to this. Some men misinterpret it and become controlling. They confuse protection with possession. They start monitoring, forbidding, restricting. And then she suffocates. Because what she wants isn't a prison, it's a shield. She wants freedom within a safe space. She wants to feel she can fly, but that you're there if something goes wrong. This calibration is where many fail. Now let's move to the second pillar, the hunter. This one kills many relationships, and no one talks about it. When a man has no purpose of his own, when he's building nothing, when his life revolves only around her, the relationship rots. Because she becomes the center of his existence. And that's a weight no woman wants to carry. She doesn't want to be your reason to live. She wants to be part of your life, not your entire life. There's something deeply attractive about a man who has a mission, who wakes up with something to conquer, who is in constant motion. It's not about financial success. It's about direction. It's about her looking at you and feeling that you're going somewhere. When you have this, when you are focused on building something, she naturally wants to be by your side. Because you stop being dependent on her and become someone interesting. Someone who has stories to tell. Someone who is evolving. And women are attracted to growth. They want to be with someone who is rising, not someone who is stagnant, waiting for her to give meaning to his life. But here comes the trap. Many men hear this and start neglecting the relationship. They throw everything into work, into goals, and forget her. And then she feels abandoned. The balance is this: you have your mission, but she is part of it. You don't live for her, but live with her. You are building an empire, but she is the queen of that empire. Do you see the difference? The third pillar, leadership, is where everything connects. And this is the most misunderstood of all. When we talk about leadership, the first thing that comes to mind is authoritarianism. Ordering. Controlling. Dominating. But real leadership has nothing to do with that. Leadership is about making decisions when no one knows what to do. It's about taking responsibility when things go wrong. It's about having clarity of vision when everything is confusing. She wants a man who leads. Who, when a doubt arises, has an answer. Who, when a choice needs to be made, chooses. Who, when something fails, doesn't look for someone to blame, but solves it. This doesn't mean he ignores her opinion. It means he has enough backbone to make a final decision without freezing. Do you know what kills attraction? When she asks, "Where do you want to go for dinner?" and he replies, "Whatever you choose." When she has to make all the decisions. When she realizes he has no opinion of his own, that he is always seeking approval, that he fears failure more than he wants to succeed. This erodes respect. And without respect, there is no desire. Leadership is also about vision. It's about knowing where you want to be in 5 years and guiding the relationship in that direction. It's not imposition. It's invitation. It's her feeling that you know where you're going and that being with you makes sense because you have a plan. Even if the plan changes. Even if adjustments are needed. Having direction is magnetic. And here's the painful truth. When these three pillars are absent, it doesn't matter how much love exists. She will start feeling something strange. Restlessness. A sense that something is missing. And she may not be able to explain it. She may even feel guilty. But her body knows. Her instinct knows. And eventually, she will leave. Now we reach the critical point. The moment where everything either collapses or strengthens. Because there is a brutal difference between understanding these pillars intellectually and truly embodying them. Many men read about this, agree with everything, but continue acting exactly the same way. And do you know why? Because they are trying to perform instead of transform. Performing is pretending to be strong when you feel fear. It's forcing decisions when you are insecure. It's creating a facade of purpose when you actually have no idea where you're going. And women detect this instantly. They have an extremely sharp emotional radar. They feel when something is genuine and when it's theater. And when she realizes you are acting, trust collapses. Real transformation happens when you stop doing these things to win her over and start doing them because it's who you truly are. When being a protector isn't a strategy, but an identity. When having purpose isn't to impress, but because you genuinely want to build something. When leading isn't to dominate, but because you've taken responsibility for your own life. And here is the moment of truth every man faces. You will have to choose. Choose between continuing to be the guy who constantly seeks approval or becoming the man who generates natural respect. Between being the one who avoids conflict at all costs or the one who faces what is necessary. Between living without direction or building a life with clear purpose. This choice is not easy. Because it means abandoning old patterns. It means stopping blaming her when things don't work. It means looking in the mirror and admitting where you have failed. And it hurts. It hurts because you will realize how many opportunities you missed. How many women walked away not because they were problematic, but because you weren't being the man they needed to feel. But there is something powerful in this awareness. When you truly understand that the problem wasn't them, that the problem was the absence of these three forces in you, everything changes. Because now you are in control. You no longer depend on her changing, the universe conspiring in your favor, or luck. You depend only on becoming this man. And how does this happen in practice? Let's be direct. Being a protector means developing real courage. Not the courage to shout or fight. The courage to stand up when it's uncomfortable. To defend your convictions even when you're alone. To protect what is important without needing to prove anything to anyone. This is built by confronting your own cowardices day after day. Being a hunter means stopping living on autopilot. It means setting real goals, not vague dreams. It means waking up every day knowing exactly what you need to do to get where you want. It means building something bigger than yourself, something that survives after you, something that makes an impact. And when you are on this path, when you are truly committed to your mission, she feels the energy of it. Being a leader means making decisions even with incomplete information. It means taking responsibility for outcomes, good or bad. It means having clarity about your values and not negotiating them for social acceptance. It means conducting your life with intention, not reacting to what happens. And when you do this, when you truly lead your own existence, she naturally wants to follow. Now pay attention. When these three pillars are active in you, something fascinating happens. She starts acting differently. She becomes more feminine, more receptive, more interested. Not because you are manipulating, but because you are generating the natural polarity that makes relationships work. You bring structured masculinity, she responds with full femininity. But there is a final test every woman applies. And this test determines if you have truly embodied these qualities or are merely simulating them. The test is simple. She will create friction. She will question your decisions. She will test your limits. She will see if you maintain your position or collapse under the first pressure. And the way you respond to this defines everything. If you always give in, if you change your opinion every time she disagrees, if you lose composure when she challenges you, you fail. Because she wasn't trying to bring you down. She was checking if you are truly solid or just appearance. And when you fail this test repeatedly, her admiration evaporates. But if you maintain your position calmly, if you listen without being shaken, if you remain firm in your values without being rigid in your ways, you pass. And when you pass, something deep happens in her psychology. She relaxes. She trusts. She surrenders. Because now she knows you are not just a facade. Here is the truth few have the courage to say: women don't want perfect men. They want real men who authentically embody these three forces. And when you become this man, when you truly live this, the dynamic changes completely. So let's close this with absolute clarity. The man a woman never wants to leave is not the most handsome, the richest, or the most talented. He is the one who genuinely embodies protector, hunter, and leader. He is the one she looks at and feels safety, purpose, and direction. He is the one who activates something primal in her, something that doesn't respond to logical arguments, but to real masculine presence. And the most important part of all this, these qualities are not something you simply have or don't have. They are built. Every day. In every decision. In every moment where you choose to face instead of flee. Where you choose to build instead of stagnate. Where you choose to lead instead of merely follow. This is the journey. And it never ends. Because being this man is not a final destination. It's a continuous process of refinement. You will fail. You will have moments of weakness. You will make wrong decisions. But the difference lies in how you handle it. A strong man is not the one who never falls. He is the one who rises, learns, and continues. And when she sees this, when she sees that you are committed to your own growth, her admiration deepens. Now there's something crucial that needs to be said. You don't do this for her. You do it for yourself. Because when you develop these qualities merely to please a woman, you are building on sand. The first time she doesn't recognize your effort, you will crumble. But when you do this because you decided to be a man of value regardless of who is by your side, that is when you truly become unshakable. And do you know what happens when you become unshakable? When you genuinely embody these three forces without depending on her validation. She feels it. She realizes that you don't need her to be who you are. That you choose to be with her, but don't rely on her for your identity. And paradoxically, this makes her want to stay even more. Because now you are not needy, you are abundant. Let's be practical about what this means in daily life. It means that when a problem arises, you don't panic. You think, decide, and act. It means that when she tests you, you don't react emotionally, you maintain your composure. It means that when you need to make a difficult decision, you take responsibility instead of leaving it for her to decide. It means you have clear goals and work on them consistently. That you are not waiting for her to motivate or push you. That you wake up knowing exactly what you need to do and do it. That you are building something bigger than just the relationship. And when you live this way, when you are truly on this path, she cannot ignore you. Because here is the final truth. Women are attracted to growth. To men who are evolving. To men who are better today than yesterday and will be better tomorrow than today. When you stop growing, when you stagnate, when you get comfortable, her attraction diminishes. Not because she is superficial, but because biologically she is programmed to seek strength, progress, and evolution. And this is not unfair. It is simply nature at work. Just as you are attracted to specific feminine traits, she is attracted to specific masculine traits. And the three we've discussed here are the deepest, the most fundamental, the ones that truly determine whether she stays or leaves. So what is the moral lesson of all this? It's simple but profound. You don't need to be perfect to be irreplaceable. You need to be authentic. You need to embody these three forces genuinely. You need to stop pretending and start being. You need to understand that a relationship is not about techniques or strategies, but about who you truly are. When you become the protector who guards without controlling, the hunter who builds with purpose, and the leader who guides with responsibility, you stop being just another guy. You become a presence she cannot replace. Because you are not just touching her heart. You are touching something much deeper. Something ancestral. Something that speaks directly to her instinct. And when this happens, when you truly become this man, she doesn't stay out of obligation or lack of options. She stays because being away from you becomes impossible. Because you have become part of her emotional structure. Because life without you feels incomplete. And this is not emotional dependency. It's a deep connection based on real polarity. So the question that remains is, are you willing to do the work? Are you willing to look at yourself with brutal honesty and admit where you are failing? Are you willing to build these three forces within yourself day after day, even when it's hard, even when no one recognizes it? Because if you are, if you truly commit to this journey, you will not only keep a woman by your side. You will become the type of man who naturally attracts respect, admiration, and loyalty. And that is the true victory. It's not about manipulating anyone to stay. It's about becoming someone people don't want to leave. If you've made it this far and want to apply this in your life, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Because the path to becoming this man is long, but every step is worth it.